This is Ascot, an Arabian thoroughbred. He belongs to Saudi Arabia's royal family, but he lives here in Poland at Janów Podlaski, a renowned stud farm that specializes in this expensive breed. For nearly 200 years, Janów Podlaski has been known all over the world for its Arabian horses. But this year, things have suddenly been turned on their head. MAREK TRELA, the director of this illustrious institution, was fired from his job and replaced by a government-appointed manager.
Next year, the farm will be 200 years old. It's a very special place, not just for me, but for many people. Having to leave is very painful for me. Janów has always been a state-run institution. I've always stayed out of politics, and so has the farm. But unfortunately, the government is now stepping in.
He's been replaced by an economist who has no apparent knowledge of horses. A second stud farm has met the same fate, triggering public protests. Demonstrators say Poland's new right-wing government is riding roughshod over democratic norms, exerting its influence on the Constitutional Court, the media, and now the country's stud farms. Hands off our horses, they say.
The government isn't satisfied with just ruling over people. Now they want animals as well. It's a scandal.
Many believe Poland's Law and Justice Party wants to make money with the stud farms to finance their campaign promises. The Minister of Agriculture called a press conference to try to explain the dismissals.
There were a number of accusations of economic mismanagement, poor veterinary care, lack of supervision. We've sent the matter to the public prosecutor's office, and there may be criminal offenses involved.
The government cited the unexplained death of an Arabian mare last year as an example of the director's incompetence. Equestrian journalist Marek says the government's behavior is totally unreasonable.
The stud farms always made a profit under the old management. The government ought to be giving them medals and holding them up as examples in this difficult industry, not firing them. The reasons they give are absurd.
Once a year, selected horses are groomed with particular care, ready for auction. The annual sale of Arabian horses, called the Pride of Poland, is a highlight of the international equestrian calendar. 10-year-old Pepita sold for 1.4 million euros last year to an anonymous buyer from Switzerland. If the director is so incompetent, could his horse really command such prices? The potential customers certainly seem convinced by the farm's pedigree. Horse lovers like Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones, along with American millionaires and representatives from the Arab Emirates on a shopping tour for their rulers. But could that now change?
Continuity is very important in breeding. We're concerned that horses will now be sold to make up the state budget. But if you sell too many good horses too fast, you ruin your breeding.
MAREK TRELA has received messages of support from around the world, but right now he can do nothing.
It was especially painful saying goodbye to the horses. They were all born during my tenure.
Would he go back?
I think I will have to go back to clean up the mess.
He may well be right. 2 more horses have died under the new director, triggering a public investigation. The uproar over Poland's stud farms continues.